forget the one rule in life. Never throw stones at a glass house. Also, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Damaging people are planning so evil. Cameras deceive you, that's not how I see you. Be transparent, hoping they see through you. Live in reverse, it'll be evil. I made my own way. I'm hoping I see through. From managing people to planning a sequel. I'm still getting better, no way beneath. I'm charged up from distance, fella. God help me through this dilemma. My chick vanilla, no bitch is better. I must be dreaming, she's Cinderella. It's whatever to get the cheddar. I keep 1-5, Quinceañera. It's whatever to get the cheddar. I keep 1-5, Quinceañera. Bust it down, break it up. All these blessings I receive.
And welcome back to the Press Yard Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Vic, aka MrNeverChillin, and this is episode number 45. And of course, I'm joined by none other than my co-host, Lunatic Ablivion.
Hey guys, welcome back to the live show. So it's another beautiful Sunday here. We got to play Tiny Tina's this morning. We only got an hour in, but the game still feels fresh. It feels good. It feels like I want to just keep diving back in. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, we had another good playthrough today of about an hour. We just had that one hiccup again with games as of lately. Playing online co-op games have been tough with the whole connection and losing connection and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, I feel like I just want to keep playing it and playing it and playing it. And then, spoiler alert here, what we saw with that made me, well, I was like, oh, I need revenge. I need revenge now. And I know Disney Princess here in chat was like, no.
No! For me, like, anytime I see somebody get decapitated in the game, all I can think about is the Jack Black Metal video game, like that role-playing game where you play as Jack Black in the world of Metal. And, like, he cuts off one of the guy's heads near the end there, and he's just like, decapitation! And it just, he holds that note for 30 seconds as he slices the head off of an opponent, and you're like, you know, that was good. I like that. And like at that moment to me, I was just like, that's what it felt like when they stopped and slow-moed the decapitation. I was like, I'm feeling it. This is good. I'm in.
But one thing about Tiny Tina's that I'm enjoying now, which is weird, is like the collectibles, like the D20s. I love collecting the D20s because I feel like it has a purpose. Like it's random. You can get good loot from it, or it could just be one piece of shit loot if you roll a nat 1. So it's just like okay.
Yeah, it feels kind of like D&D sometimes. You know, maybe this roll would, you know, it's save or die kind of roll, and you're just like 1.
Nice. Fail.
Guess I die.
I wasted
or
my time.
20. Okay, I guess I survive. Or like you're like, I need to just do something simple. Nat 20.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, that works.
This, I feel like it takes that sort of meme of, you know, save or die, but it puts it to a mechanic that doesn't influence the game, because I feel as though it could ruin the game.
Yeah, for sure. If it made it more of an impactful and actual choice, then yeah, I think it would probably ruin the experience because you just lose all control.
Yeah, exactly. You just give up to the dungeon, the dice gods, and you're like, well, I guess I lost. Thanks.
Right. But what else have you been playing over the past week or so?
Well, as you probably saw, I've completed a few games recently. I actually just beat Lost in Random, which was pretty cool. That just came out on Game Pass last week or the week before, I think. I thought that was pretty cool because that was actually one of those games that, talking about, you know, trying to tie it in here. It was a tabletop game, essentially. You played with a deck of 5 cards or 15 cards, and you drew 5 cards at a time, and you rolled a d6. And that d6 decided how many points you had to spend, or that you were able to spend on abilities. And it kind of felt interesting. At times, there was one enemy that was chasing you around that could act while you were trying to decide what to do after you rolled a dice. But I think the story itself wasn't great, but the mechanics carried the game. Like, it was a new and unique way of handling real-time fighting in a way that it allowed you to go into essentially a pause menu, set back up, and then, you know, essentially build your own dungeon encounter, if you will. Say you want to place some mines over there, or you want to be able to put a hand that slides across the floor and hits somebody. You know, it had a lot of cool features, and I thought the game, you know, my rating system, I use 3 things: story, gameplay, and graphics, and I rate them out of 10. I gave this game about a 6 to a 7 out of 10. It wasn't a bad game, but I think the storytelling lacked a little bit. It felt rushed in the end. Other than that, I did also finally beat Plague Tale Innocence. After you talked about it last week, it drew me in and I decided I also wanted to play that and beat it. You know, I had been halfway through the game, so I decided to actually put in the work again to beat it, and I'm kind of excited. I thought the ending was interesting because the game really does change a lot as you hit the end of the game, with the last two chapters essentially becoming from, realism, semi-realism, or realism to just complete bullshit. You're essentially getting goddamn fucking zoomancy. You're controlling animals with your minds, and it's like, okay, it went from normal to just far left, and it was about it's essentially about the Knights Templar, if you will, the Inquisition and stuff. So it did border on that sort of mystique that we have. So I thought it's interesting, and it sets it up well for the next game. What'd you think about Plague Tale?
Yeah, so that was actually a game that I recently played and I just beat as well, and um, I was hooked, man. Like I didn't want to put that game down, even though I was only playing it at about an hour at a time, just so I was streaming it right before I go to bed. And man, that ending was insane, and it clearly sets up the sequel. So I'm not going to throw any spoilers out for that other than that, but it definitely has me now excited for the TV series that we talked about before. I was just like, I didn't know I wanted this as a TV series because this could be
Yeah.
really well done. I mean, obviously the plague is a real was a real thing back during that time. So, but to put that little twist into it, like the supernatural abilities, definitely could have a big impact in a TV movie or a TV show.
Yeah, honestly, if we get somebody like the directors of the Witcher TV show, I think we have a lot of potential here for a very horror thriller-esque show,
Hmm.
because it was so well done. The fact that, the rats are afraid of fire, it gives you so much ability to really, or not fire, but light in general. They were afraid of sunlight or artificial light from fire. So I think it really lends itself well to a nice thriller.
Hmm.
Whereas like zombies, for example, you can't avoid them. They're out day, night, left, right. They're
Right.
always there. Vampires, day and night, you can be inside with a flashlight, it ain't gonna save your life. But with these, as long as there is no light, they can get to you, whether it's sunlight or fake light. I think it's so cool to me that it's just such a good concept for a thriller that we may not have really experienced yet.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to write this review for this game because I definitely have a lot to say about it. A lot of great things. Because I write through in my notebook and I don't think I had too many negative things to say about the game at all. But another game that I did check out was Weird West, and I played for about an hour, a little over an hour, and I was just like, I don't know how to feel about this game yet. It hasn't hooked me yet. It hasn't made me want
Hmm.
to play more. Um, I think it's the whole top-down kind of look. I don't feel as immersed into the story, and I don't feel
Yeah.
connected to the people. I don't know what they look like. I can't see their emotions. I just feel like I'm just controlling this random thing around a screen that does has no impact, and it's a twin stick shooter as well. So like it was similar to how we were playing the Ascent. But it's just like I think that might be the disconnect for me, and that's probably why I didn't really enjoy the Ascent too much. Was I couldn't feel connected to the story, and it's because I think it's the top down look. I can't do it.
Yeah, for me, I've looked at Weird West and I think I'm gonna give it a try. It's just not something that I've wanted to pick up yet. Weird West is essentially Deadlands on PC, in my opinion. It's that sort of Weird West. It is the supernatural sort of Western setting, dealing with shamans, supernatural zombies and people with guns and magic. So I think it's a really nice setting that we don't explore all too often. And I think we may, with the death of really the cowboy motif in media, digital media,
Hmm.
because cowboy movies and TV shows aren't a thing anymore that people really
Right.
watch. I think it lends itself well to a new generation who might want to experience that sort of Western motif again.
Right. We have Western kind of games haven't been much of a thing since probably 2006 to like 2013 time frame when like Call of Javaris was out. Red Dead Redemption was
Oddworld,
in. Huh?
Oddworld.
Yeah, Oddworld. Like there was a bunch of games all around that same time frame, but it's just like it hasn't been a thing in so long. And even look at Red Dead Redemption 2, really popular, successful game, but like it doesn't hold that same weight that like GTA does right now. It's basically the same game. It's just
Mhm.
Wild West versus more modern day life.
Yeah,
So it's just not
yeah,
what people want right now.
yeah. No, I definitely the last Wild Wild West, like sort of supernatural or magic based Wild Wild West game for me would probably be uh Stranger in Stranger's Wrath, which is an Oddworld game.
Hmm.
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. That I think that's the last time I actually genuinely played a Western style RPG or a Western style game, like Wild Wild West, cowboys shoot 'em up kind of stuff. But um, talking about some of these games here and that sort of supernatural, we have some new game releases this week. Some that are already out and some that are actually releasing. So one of the first games we got here is Zombie Army 4 Dead War. That is releasing on the Switch on the 26th. We've got Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt that comes out on the 27th for PlayStation 5 and PC. And then we've got a few other games here that aren't that sort of Wild Wild West feel or that Weird West. We've got the Stanley Parable is getting its Ultra Deluxe release, which is coming out on PS5, Xbox X and S, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, a Switch, PC. Then we also have the game that we talked about last week on the show, Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks is getting its essentially biggest betrayal. It's coming out on everything that isn't PlayStation, XS, One, Switch. So we're gonna finally see this game that was a PlayStation exclusive now betray the PlayStation market. It's a weird time where PlayStation is kind of falling, I think.
Yep.
We've also got ourselves Dorformantic that comes out on PC. We've got Rogue Legacy 2 that comes out for the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and the PC on the 28th. We've got Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. Now, this is an interesting game. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, because of the war in Ukraine, this is now all of a sudden a PlayStation exclusive. It wasn't meant to be, but it is now because they had to indefinitely postpone the release for Xbox. So it's only coming to PlayStation 4. And that is indefinitely. Refunds were issued for people who pre ordered it on any console that wasn't the PS4. We've also got Unsold. This is Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. That comes out on the 28th. And then the big keystone, the capstone, the end-all be-all this week. We got the new Nintendo Switch Sports. That comes out on the 29th. What's got you hyped?
That game right there.
Okay, yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. Okay, so the alpha and the beta for Switch Sports has come and passed, and now we've got the actual release this week. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say Game of the Year kind of numbers. We're gonna see big sales. This is gonna hold the Switch up for the next 2 years. I'm calling it now.
I don't know if it's going to be that big, but I do think it's going to be. What's crazy though to think about it this time around is the Nintendo Wii Sports was a free game. It came with everybody's Switch or
Hmm.
Wii, but now Nintendo Switch Sports you have to pay for, and I think it's like 40
Yeah.
bucks, so it's nothing too crazy. But I'm just curious on their mindset behind that. They're like, well, shit, it's like the most played game of ever on Nintendo. Let's remake it and repackage it and sell it on the Switch for $40 this
Oh,
time.
the thing is, though, they needed a game to really sell the motion controls, so that's why it was free on the Wii. But now that we know the motion controls work and people will buy it, just people love
Right.
motion controls. Switch Sports, I think, is honestly going to be huge. I think we're going to see a big boom in Switch sales this year
Again.
after it drops, potentially with bundling.
Oh yeah, yeah for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and then I still might check out Bug Snacks because it's such a weird game, and people are telling me like it looks friendly and cute on the outside, but it has like a really dark meaning to it, like the story and stuff. So I'm like, and it's
Hmm.
coming to Game Pass, so definitely want to check that out.
Free.
Free
That is the
99.
price. That is free 99. So that's what it feels like to me. Free fitty. So honestly, I think I might get myself Nintendo Switch Sports just for the party play.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, the Bug Snacks, I would want to check that out personally because that's one of those games that I've been kind of like, this is this is a PlayStation exclusive. Why did it come to the other consoles? Was it so good or was it so bad that it had to come to another console?
Right. That's definitely gonna be something to check out for sure. What is Rogue Legacy 2? That's just like a smaller action game. Nothing too exciting there. I'm just trying to look at
Yeah.
some of these other ones. I know
Well, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, this is something we talked about for a while there, and I know you were literally just saying that as I
Yeah.
interjected. But the Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt is that 3v3 or 4v4 vampire versus vampire game, I believe, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
So it's just another one of those arena fighters, not arena fighters, but yeah, I guess arena fighter is the correct word for it. It's like Valorant
So this
or
game is in
uh
early access. So it comes out of early access on the 27th. So it's the official release date.
yeah. And I really honestly haven't heard much from it. It's a quiet game to me.
Yeah.
There's no official website for it on Game Informer. The reviews don't really, it didn't have much of a wave in my opinion.
Right. I think this will be a game that we just have to wait and see and check out. I mean, because you have a PS5, so you can definitely check this out for sure.
Yeah, no, and it's coming to PC,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
it say? I thought,
yeah,
yeah,
the
it's
PC.
coming to PlayStation 5 and PC, which is actually interesting because we've been seeing a lot of these PlayStation games now come to PC and not just to the consoles.
Right.
Well, without further ado, let's get to the actual news of the week. So we've got some industry news, we got some gaming news. Let's just hit right into the industry news. Something that's really crazy to me. So we talked about a lot how Netflix now has been having part of your membership is you get a game subscription. So you have a game library. And it doesn't seem like this is propping Netflix up. And we can see that with their subscriber loss in Q1 this year. In Q1, Netflix has lost 200,000 subscribers in Q1. And they're trying to blame it on password sharing, which, they were once okay with, but now they're trying to roll those back in other countries. I don't want to say third world, but it's not here that they're trying to put
Right.
those protections in, but where they announced they were going to do this, they're hitting big walls. People are like, "Yep, bye. I have Hulu, I have HBO Max, I've got Amazon Prime. I don't need you."
Right. But their
What's your
game,
thought?
I think that's crazy. That's a lot of losses. 200,000. That's a lot, and especially if you multiply that by, say, most of them have the
That's
four.
$20 million.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So I'm just worried about it in a way, but but I think it could rebound with the gaming portion of it. Maybe because it just signed its first of a kind deal. They're signing with the company behind Exploding Kittens to bring like some kind of like smaller esque like game to the screen, along with an animated series. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we're gonna get a mobile game, maybe. Because I don't think there were much details released on this, but we might be seeing first of its kind, maybe a mobile game to really rival that of the Jackbox Party Packs, where
Hmm.
you can play on your phone while also playing on the TV.
Right.
Maybe we might get something like that. Maybe it's just a card game on your phone. But
Right.
with that, what's the big news?
Which one? Which movie are we going to talk about here? Minecraft?
No, 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 no.
No.
But Exploding Kittens is getting its own animated series in addition to the game. So
Yeah.
maybe this might help. Are we going to start seeing Netflix blur the line between games and their digital media, whether that be movies, TV shows, web series, stuff like that? Are we going to start to see maybe games and the stuff come together as a unified platform?
Yeah. I'd be curious because like if they implement like a Jackbox style game, like most people have Netflix on their TV, their console, their phones, their tablets, and if you can just
Yeah.
join wherever you're at any given moment to be able to play a card game or like a party game with friends, It only makes sense. But I think like we're talking about the first of its kind deals. We haven't really seen any deals where the gaming industry is trying to buy a like card company. It's like if they bought Cards Against Humanity and turned it into like a video game or something like
Well,
that.
and they're not buying them. They're just licensing the Exploding Kittens to
Right.
make digital media for it because they haven't made digital media yet for it. I believe there might be one game in all of their games that they have. I think they have one that's online. So, next big news we have here. So, Minecraft is getting a cinematic release. I don't know how many of our viewers knew that, but Minecraft is coming to the big screen. And we just got some of the casting announcements. I don't really care personally. Like, is this big to you? Jason Momoa is supposed to star in the Minecraft movie.
I mean, he's a big name. He's been starring in a lot of big movies lately, and he's going to attract a lot of attention to it. And anybody who watches like Aquaman or Dune recently, they know his performance. It's a solid performance. But
Yeah.
Minecraft movie, I don't know where they can go with this. I mean, they can take some content
All I'm
from like
saying is
Minecraft dungeons, I guess, and make a movie out of it.
maybe, yeah. Or I feel like this is gonna be a thirst trap for single moms. That's what this is. This Minecraft movie is gonna be a thirst trap for single moms. Hey, and married mothers, I don't judge, you know. But no,
Yes.
it's an interesting choice that such a game without a narrative is now going to get its narrative
Right.
on the big screen.
Right. I mean,
And we've also seen another movie coming out as well. And you want to talk about that one for me?
yeah. Streets of Rage is apparently getting a movie, and the script is being written by the John Wick creator Derek Kolstad. So this one can turn out to be pretty good. I know Streets of Rage is a classic video game. It's been around for fuck the '90s, at least the '90s, if not the
Yep.
'80s. And so this is a really well-known title. So it's more or less one of those beat 'em up fighting games. So you can clearly make a movie out of this. And I think with having that script writer there, I think they got something on their hands there. That's gonna be
No,
pretty
I
good.
agree. It Streets of Rage is kind of one of those beat 'em ups like Ninja Turtles. You go through the map, punching all the bad guys. So I think it's going to be interesting, but I'm not. I don't remember the last time I played Streets of Rage, and we're on Streets of Rage 4 now, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's interesting, but what I'm really excited for, and I know some of our viewers would also be excited to hear, is that we talked about this. It Takes Two did get a movie deal, and it is now announced that it'll be set up with Amazon, and then it's DJ2 Entertainment and Seven Bucks Productions are going to be taking care of producing this movie. But who are the actual producers, Vic?
Man, when they announced this, I was like, is he really going to be in? Because I heard like he's also going to be in the movie, not just producing the movie. But
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Rock, The Rock is going to be in It Takes Two. I'm so curious to see if he's like one of the main characters or if he just like makes an appearance. But no,
Yeah.
no, we got The Rock, Danny Garcia, and Haram Garcia will also produce. So those are all big names, in obviously the movie and entertainment business. But yeah, that one came out of left field. I would never have put two and two together with The
Yeah,
Rock and
like
It
for
Takes Two.
me, to me, I think it's The Rock adds such a flavor lately with his approach to his movie deals that he's doing lately. He's sort of those kid style movies. I think, we've got things like Jumanji, right?
Yeah.
And so we've got, what was it, Rampage he was also
Yeah,
in.
Rampage. And interesting enough, me, my mom, and Lauren just watched a movie a little bit ago on Netflix. Netflix original. It was Red Notice, where
Yeah.
he's like that FBI agent that's helping out the Interpol, and then like they were trying to steal
Yeah.
like something, and that was
Well,
actually
no,
really
it
good.
was with Ryan Reynolds or
Yeah,
whatever.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to steal
No, that was
The Cleopatra eggs, and they found the third
yeah.
one that's apparently been missing for 2,000 years. It was a good movie.
It turns out, don't want to spoil it
Yeah.
for anyone, but it was a really good movie. Like, it had some really good twists and turns, and honestly, it was one of The Rock's better movies recently. I actually had tons of fun watching it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, The Rock has starred in so many movies, especially with all the ones with like Kevin Hart with like CIA. Like his movies can go on and on. San Andreas. You were talking about Rampage. Like he has a lot of action movies, so it'd be interesting to see how he takes this into It Takes Two. Because I wonder if it's
Yeah,
going to be like a live action movie or is it an animated kind of movie, or a blend.
yeah. Is he going to be a voice actor or is he going to be a legitimate actor? Because, like, for me, It Takes Two is going to be a lot of CGI, and I assume he'll be perfectly fine with CGI. He did Jumanji.
Right.
So, but let's move on here to something that
Did,
that gave me a chuckle.
I'm just going to say this. This one might have blew your mind.
I hate you.
I had to.
So gamers have this reputation sometimes for not being the cleanliest of people, and I guess that also carries over into their personal property. A PlayStation in somebody's bag in the Boston airport was so dirty that the TSA mistakenly thought that it might be a bomb.
Yeah, man. When
So
this
the entire Boston airport was evacuated last week or the week before because of a crusty, we'll call it, PlayStation.
Yeah, when this news broke and came across my Twitter account, and I was just like, bro, this can't be real. This cannot be real
No.
life. And they didn't disclose which PlayStation was, whether it was a PS3, 4, or even a new one. But like they said it was so degraded they couldn't even really tell what it was. And I'm just like, bro, did that thing did it like overheat or something and it just started melting? Or
My,
what was going on?
my dude just threw it in a fucking fucking dryer, hit the max heat, and just went on.
Yeah. So I mean, I would love to see pictures of what this PlayStation looked like. So hopefully they release them because I would love to see this. But
Yeah, how does the TSA be so out of touch that they have to close down an airport because somebody is just disgusting? And like, if the dude's if his PlayStation's that dirty, how fucking dirty is he?
right? I don't even
All right.
know.
I can only imagine thinking about some of the people I come across at conventions or even Magic the Gathering tournaments. Like, I'm just gonna leave it at that one, however disgusting that is. Let's talk about another thing here. So I know we got a lot of news about movies here, but we have some news about the Halo TV show. So it seems as though Microsoft has now finally settled the lawsuit with the the composer of his unpaid royalties. It seems like he'll be getting 20%, but that does not seem to be completely paying out. Could you kind of enlighten us a little bit more here, Vic?
Yeah, so they haven't given us any like actual numbers. They haven't disclosed any of that information. But according to the composer, he said that he was supposed to be getting 20% of it, and it was like chump change, like it wasn't nothing. And he was just like, "Well, if this is my 20%, that means Microsoft or Halo itself is not making a lot of money." So it was just wondering like what's going on here and who's lying. Like, did Microsoft
Yeah.
underpay him? Did they not give him his 20%? Or if they did, like, are they not making money right now off of the Halo
Or
franchise?
or is Halo, because it's almost it because at this point it's on Game Pass. So is the Halo team not making money? Are they saying that the revenue that Halo generates is $0? Because we already know that Halo only has a battle pass system now. So Halo is a free game. It's free to play. Master Chief Collection is not, but the original Halo or the new Halo game, Infinite is in fact free to play.
Master
The
Chief
only
Collection
time.
is technically free to play because it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, then
Oh yeah. I forgot they did put it on Game Pass, and which is cool and all, but like now this gentleman who was making money, they can essentially brush his accomplishments under the rug, and they're like, Halo doesn't generate any money. Well, that's not true. Halo is your flagship. It's the reason why people bought Xbox. It's
right.
why the people bought into you. And you're saying, well, yeah, we're going to just give it out for free and then we're going to value it through Game Pass. So maybe he's not making money because of that, or maybe Microsoft is just, fudging the books.
right.
It kind of makes me upset to hear after we've seen so many good things come from Microsoft, but maybe we're not seeing the dark underside of what Game Pass could mean.
Right. So hopefully Microsoft fixes this. They've been doing a lot of good PR moves. So hopefully they
Hmm.
come out and say, hey, we gave him X amount of dollars. We had a butch, we had a fuck up, we own it, and we're gonna fix it and make it better. So hopefully that's what they do.
Hmm.
That's the only thing we can do.
So, that is all the industry news we have for the week. But gaming news, we've got quite a few things here. We've got new release dates coming out. We've got new games being announced, some early access finally coming to full release. Let's just start with Valorant. So the new season of Valorant starts Tuesday. With that, we are getting something new, as we almost always do with a new season. This season, we are going to be seeing a new agent. Her name is Fade. Fade is a Turkish agent who is an initiator. Vic, you want to tell us a little bit about Fade or what you know?
Fade looks really interesting. Like I wonder how she's gonna have the effect on
Hmm.
on the whole meta right now, because like she's basically going to be able to manipulate and control you, more or less. Like with her abilities, not obviously take full control of you, but I don't know. It's just like most of her abilities, you gotta like throw this ball out that like shoots up in the air and then comes down and it explodes. And if you're in the radius or whatever, then you get the effects and stuff. So yeah. So like her E ability is Haunt. You equip a nightmarish entity, fire to throw the orb, which will plummet to the ground after a set amount of time. Upon hitting the ground, the orb will turn into a nightmarish entity that will reveal the location of enemies caught in its line of sight. So that can definitely give you a lot of information. Like you can actually kind of like Sova or
It's
whatever,
yeah, it's a
pretty much.
Sova dart with bigger range, but it also means that you can only trigger it in such a way that line of sight is going to be important. You're not going to be shooting it and bouncing it. You're going to be just going and throwing it. So you're going to be playing off of Phoenix lineups, as our friends in the Rudy Tooty aim and shooty chat have kind of discussed with us. It's like a Phoenix Molly, but currently it is unclear whether or not it's going to be on a timer or if it's going to be on a kill replenish.
Right. And then her Q is called Seize, another orb ability, fire to throw, which will plummet to the ground after a set amount of time. Upon hitting the ground, the ink will explode and create a zone in which enemies who are caught in it cannot escape the zone by normal means. That's very interesting. So that's basically just trapping them. It's like taking like Sage's orb, like her slow orb, to like the next level where you basically can't move unless you're using like Jet Dash or um Zappy Zappy's little sprint move.
Zappy
Yeah,
sprint. Yep.
yeah, Zappy sprint. So that'll be
But
interesting.
what's interesting about this, what you're not actually including, is the fact that it has 75 decay damage. So
Hmm.
it's like Viper if she hits you with her orb or her wall or her alt. You're going to lose 75% of your current health, and then you are deafened and you cannot escape, as you said, for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So the orb will automatically drop to the ground after 1.5 seconds of being thrown, similar to Phoenix Molly, where if you chuck it, it'll fly and then dead drop.
Right. And then her C ability is called Prowler. Um,
Hmm.
you say basically send out a Prowler like Sky's dog, more or less, causing it to travel in a straight line. The Prowler will lock onto an enemy or trails in their frontal vision cone and chase them, near sighting them if it reaches them. It says hold the fire button to steer the Prowler, so you can either control the entity or just send it out on its own. So that's a pretty
Sort of
cool
like a
mechanic.
raise bot that also is controlled like a sky
Dog.
blind.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
blind,
oh, the
because
blind.
the
Okay.
dog you do first person, the blind you can control while looking.
Yeah.
So it kind of it's a less intuitive or a less convenient than the Spike Rush Prowlers, the two that come out from Spike Rush.
Mm,
But the cool thing about this one is instead of notifying you where the enemy is, it will actually leave a trail behind them. So it'll
right.
leave them a shadowy trail so you can see where they ran.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the ultimate ability with the X button is Nightfall. Fire to send out a wave of nightmare energy that can traverse through walls. The energy creates a trail to the opponent as well as deafens and decays them. That seems pretty intense there. What's your thoughts on that move?
I think it's interesting. It's like a breach ability. It's like breaches alt, but I don't think it goes a lot less further. It does damage and it lets you know where they are, so it's good for helping you clear sight when you're like, well, where is somebody hiding? That's always an issue right now, I think, for a lot of people. it doesn't matter what elo you're in, people tend to forget to look up, down, left, or right for opponents, and they're just like, go, go, go. So now it allows us that ability to, like, for example, if you ulted with Breach, you're gonna get that it hits everyone, but you don't know they're there. It could be no one. But
Right.
with this, you at least know somebody's there because now you get a trail to that person.
Right. Do you think anybody on our main team right now would play really well with this kind of character?
Not do I think I know. I know that Akilth, he's big on her already. He wants to practice Phoenix lineups so that he can instead play her with her new abilities. I myself will give her a try once or twice, but I don't think I'll play her unless I really truly like her. If she's like for me, I find myself being an initiator, so I find myself not playing an initiator while being an initiator for our team.
Right. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
it may be something that I come down to trying out or playing, or I'll take over Brimstone while Dom switches over to her. So I think she's a very interesting character, and we'll hopefully get to see her not this week, but next week in gameplay.
Right. And today I played a little bit earlier today with a couple of the guys, and I've been trying to get some more time in with Breach, and that's been coming along much better.
Yeah.
I need to mix it up and get away from Raze sometimes, and just change up my gameplay every once in a while.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of good champions, and I think Fade, for example, is going to add a lot of utility that we don't have currently, and that is the ability to find out where people were or are.
Right. I mean, so the only time we have that is if we have Sova, whether it's Phil
Yeah, but
or Bruno.
the crazy thing is the information agent is Cypher, but Cypher at this point just doesn't feel like there's so many better options. Sky can tell you somebody's there with her flash. Sova will tell you exactly where they are with his recon dart. Cypher, you have to see him on the camera. I might as well have just been standing there to shoot my gun at you instead of, playing with my camera.
Right.
So it's an interesting choice, but I think we should move on here to another big game. World of Warcraft had a big announcement this week. So we'll start with the smaller of the two announcements. Wrath of the Lich King is getting the classic WoW Classic treatment. This year we will see the release of Wrath of the Lich King Classic. So, are we getting to the point where Classic is catching up too quickly to the actual game? Is retail going to get caught up by Classic in the next 2 years, 3 years?
I
You know,
think probably, but I just think the whole classic thing is kind of
I think
pointless. I think it's
it's
pointless.
jumped the shark.
Why do I need to replay what I already played before? Like it takes
You don't
forever to
need
play.
to, but
It's like well yeah, like I don't want to go through and replay that ever again. Like I played through
yeah,
77 levels of WoW, and that was when I ended playing was when we got to Wrath of the Lich King, like halfway through it, and I was just like, yeah, I just don't feel like playing this no more. So it's just like I would never
yeah.
want to revisit this kind of stuff because it
I
involves way
feel
too
like,
much time, way too much time.
yeah, Wrath of the Lich King is one of those expansions that was really, really good, and it was a pillar stone, like
Yeah,
a core of the game, but to get there was such a challenge. It was
yeah,
one of the first expansions where people were like, is it worth it anymore? I'm playing 10 levels that feel like 60 classic levels, Like,
right.
do I really want to do this again? So, and that's what we saw with regular, the retail edition, where now retail, did the level squish. And let's talk about retail. Retail now is getting the new expansion called Dragonflight. So Azeroth is wounded, but instead of pulling the sword out, Azeroth is just healing itself, I guess. So the planet is supposed to be healing itself from the Dragonflights. We're going to visit the Dragon Isles. We're going to have 4 new zones and a new starting area for the new race. So we're going to get another panda style race here, a race called the Drakthir. And they get a specialized Drakthir only class, which is called Evoker. Evoker allows you to channel 3 of the 5 Dragonflight attributes into something. So it allows you to be a healer, a damage dealer, possibly a tank. I would be surprised if they didn't have one, but I don't think they announced it on the video. This is a new race that will start like hero classes, though, too. It will start at level 58 instead of starting at level 1 like pandas. And then once you reach level 60, you'll get to decide Horde or Alliance.
That's interesting. I like that concept. Is this going to bring you back? Because I know you gave up WoW.
Like I actually had this discussion with Jeff Slugs from Lunacy Arts. We talked about it a little bit. He asked me, what do you think of the new expansion? Are you coming back? And I said, well, honestly, this expansion tickled my fancy. Like it gave me everything I wanted. But then I thought for 2 whole seconds. It only took me two. And I went, I don't have time for this shit anymore. I really don't. World of Warcraft has such a grind once you hit max level. It's worse than leveling.
Yep.
I would rather level a new character than do the content at max level to prepare myself for a raid. If you don't do that content, well, then you can't raid. And it's like, I don't have time for that. Hey, hey, Laser. Shout out to Laser Lord here, one of our admins for the community. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. We are.
It,
Always appreciate it when he comes through.
yeah, no, so I think with the new expansion coming out for WoW, I still am not going to go back to the game, especially since the drama and the guilds, it's just what really disgusted me the most about WoW is how I had to deal with the worst of the opposition political party and my own party, like, politically, which is weird, like why politics is the most things that I deal with in WoW. Like at the end of the day, I had people touting ivermectin to my guildmates when they said they had COVID, and I was like, what? Why are you telling them to do drink horse anal paste? Like I'm like, how is the community this fucked up?
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I'm glad you got up out of there because you have more important things
I'm
to
like,
play, whether it's
yeah,
Valorant or your solo games or your Magic the Gathering
yeah,
cards.
exactly.
More content that
I
more
would
viewers would enjoy watching you play.
Yeah, I would rather like that's a game that I was so embarrassed by the community that I don't want to stream it. Most big WoW streamers, they yeeted out of their days, months, years ago. And they've been playing things like New World for a little bit there, Final Fantasy 13. We're dealing with things that just MMO communities have gotten to the point where I would rather deal with my Twitch chat than them. Hi, Twitch chat.
Any day of the week for sure. But
14, sorry, thank you. Final Fantasy 14. It's just it definitely is one of those things where I'm just like I don't think I ever want to go back to it.
right. But moving along here to a game that I know that you played and you beat and you invested tons of time in, just like World of Warcraft. Maybe not as much, but Elden Ring, they removed the 50 hit wall, aka patched it or removed it, and everyone thought that this was an Easter egg, something that they found, and here that wasn't even
It
supposed
was
to
a
be a thing.
glitch.
It was a glitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? No, they should have just left that be. That was so cool. Who the hell went around and hitting the wall 50 times? And they just
Yeah.
stumbled upon that one, unless they got like a hat, like, hey, go check out this wall kind of thing, Why take it out?
No, yeah. At that point, I was just like, there are better things that the Elden Ring from software developers could put their time to. Like, we already know that From Software is starting their next game, which I believe is a From Software in Warhammer. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
is that what? Yeah, it's
Yep.
Warhammer 40K. So like, just just go spend time dealing with that. The only thing we need to see you do is our next expansion for Elden Ring, and we also need our fixes for the lag. There are still blatant gameplay issues, not just like bugs, but actual problems in the game. And they're still out there trying to patch bosses, like the hardest boss in the game they thought was too easy when a guy who died to it like hundreds of times finally perfected the fight and fought her naked with a pot on his head.
Yeah.
They were like, we gotta fix this. We gotta make it harder. So they made the boss harder, and even he started to struggle again against the boss.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think balancing is what we need right now. I think we need to fix the fact that the game will literally just stop, freeze for 2 seconds, and then 2 seconds of gameplay in 30 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, I agree with Philipper here. That guy is for or female. We don't know their whatever they are, but
That player.
they will be concrete, like solidified as a legend in the gaming industry
Honestly,
because of that.
like I still can. One of my favorite things was finding the JoJo meme of "Let me solo her." It was where JoJo's walking towards Dio and it's just like leaning back all gangster, and I was like, "It's pretty good." That's an actual like. I'm gonna go to the convention next year. Actually, this year probably Otakon, and I'm gonna probably find people selling artwork of that.
You don't think
And
they're
I
going to show
probably
up?
will
They're
end
going
up
to doing a cosplay looking like him?
no, somebody's definitely coming as Let Me Solo Her, but that's beside a point, okay? Some dude is gonna walk through the convention
With a
in
diaper on.
underwear with a pot on his head.
That would be fucking hilarious for sure. Yeah, but speaking of events, I know a couple guys from Shoot to Win are actually up at PAX East right now. They're having a good time up there, and they got to play some games and check out a lot of the stuff. I was supposed to go, but I didn't feel like getting my COVID shot yet. So hopefully next year it won't be required and I can go.
Well, moving on from Elden Ring here, we've got Digimon Survive. This is a new game that actually just got announced. This is a strategy RPG, so this is something I don't think we've really seen from the Digimon games in a while. And it got a quick release date here. It's just right around the corner, actually. It's for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So this isn't next gen, which is surprising to me at this point. It's coming out July 29th everywhere in the world and on July 28th in Japan. For me, this seems like actually one of the games that I'd be really, really interested in playing.
Yeah, I remember when they announced this a couple years ago, actually, but this game kind of went in dormant and was not talked about there for a while. So
Exactly.
when this news came out of nowhere, like, hey guys, we got the official release date, I was just like, I completely forgot
What
about
game?
this game. Like, wait,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
But yeah, you're right. I don't think we've ever seen a strategy Digimon game. And for it to be a strategy RPG at that is going to be a very interesting take on that franchise.
It's
And
like Fire. It's like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics as opposed to the traditional, which we saw in Cyber Sleuth, like the Final Fantasy original
mhm,
style of gameplay.
right.
So I think it looks really interesting. But another game coming from the East here, we've got another Japanese game. Splatoon 3 got its official release date this week. It comes out on September 9th.
It's going to be a great week. That's when my baby is supposed to be due around that day on the 6th. So it's pretty cool. Another game come
You'll be
around.
gone from the community, and I get extra days to play Splatoon. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sounds
Talking
about right.
about another game here that also just got some new changes. Deep Rock Galactic has officially announced Season 2 with a release date. It comes out May 5th. We're gonna get 4 new weapons. We're gonna get a robot instead of native alien species expansion. So you're going to be dealing with robots that have gone mad and try to kill you, in addition to aliens in the planet.
Right. It
Is
seems
this
pretty cool.
interesting?
It might bring me back because
Yeah,
like
like
I've never not liked the game. It's just like it seemed like a very time consuming game where I could spend too much time playing that game, just
yeah.
like mindlessly doing it. But I think it's a game that we can always just pick up and drop whenever for sure. But 4 new weapons that are coming are actually has dual sense in mind, so that's like a PlayStation obviously exclusive feature where like whatever each weapon does is going to have a different effect on the triggers and stuff like that. So
hmm
that's pretty cool that there's a smaller developer like that is going to implement some features, specific features on a console, and that's why like a lot of the times when a game is cross-platform, they don't like use specific console features because like they don't want to allocate those resources to like one specific if they have a wider audience to reach.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting that they're actually like, this is the way of a future. This is a technology that both should have and only one has. I think this is one of those positives that we've seen out of Sony that kind of goes under the rug because developers are like, we're not going to use it. But then Sony only developers are like, here you go. And honestly, I think it's so cool.
Hmm.
I think it's like in the Ratchet and Clank game for PS5. I thought it was such an interesting and intuitive concept.
Yeah, it's been super successful and critically acclaimed that even Microsoft has put out like that one email. They were like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on like these kind of triggers like the PlayStation? Like, would you guys want to see that on the Xbox controller?" And I guess like it's a very much a possibility that it could happen to an Xbox controller in the
Yeah.
future. So I mean, like it's just evolution. This is going to help progress the gaming industry, and I wouldn't say it's copying. Like I just think that hey, once the
You
vibration,
have good technology. Let's do it. I'm
right?
sorry we're going to steal it from you, but you came up with a great idea. If you
Yeah,
patent it, then fine. Microsoft needs to buy the rights to the technology, but that's beside the point. I
right.
think it's something that both sides should have. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, look at vibrations. When vibration controllers were introduced, like that was
Yeah.
a thing for one controller, and then they were like, "Ooh, everybody has to have this." And now every controller, phone, every
Feedback. Yeah,
haptic,
haptic
everything has
feedback
it.
is necessary.
Yeah,
It's in your controllers, it's in, VR, it's everywhere.
right. So that'd be pretty cool to see. But some more good news along the lines of another Nintendo Switch title here. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got its release date moved up from September to July 9th. Are you excited to check this out at all?
No.
He's like,
Xenoblade Chronicles has kind of felt like a slog fest in recent years.
mhm.
It doesn't feel good. I'm hoping maybe they fix those issues, because every time I talk to somebody who's played Xenoblade Chronicles, they're like, "Well, I've had to farm 10 hours to be able to beat a boss that I was hoping I could just go straight to and fight."
I have two, and I played it for like 2 hours, and I was like, I don't think this game's for me.
No, it's definitely not in your realm of games because you're not a grinder gamer.
Not anymore.
You're not dedicated to spending hours, and neither am I. I want to be able to, like, there's a time and a place for spending 10 hours on a game, and that's when I'm really having fun. But when you make it mandatory, that's a problem. Like,
Right.
I spent 10 hours exploring Elden Ring one day to not accomplish a single thing
Just to explore.
except explore some side dungeons, and that's okay. But like, I don't want to do that in Xenoblade Chronicles where I spend 10 hours fighting sheep just to get wool so I can upgrade something. This is all, I joke, but that's essentially what happened.
Right.
Let's talk here quickly, though, about a few games that are actually having release dates announced. So we've got Baldur's Gate 3 is leaving early access and coming to full game in 2023. We've got Tales from Borderlands. We have a new game in development that's coming this year. We've got Sonic Origins, which is the 4 original games remastered. So that'll be Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and Sonic. This comes out on June 23rd. I want to take a moment to talk about this one, though. Have you seen the pricing scheme for this game?
I just seen it was like $40 for the collection or something like that. So I was just like, okay.
There are multiple editions, is the crazy thing. There is a $10 extra fun DLC that allows you to play around in the start menu or in the title screen, where now the characters are controllable in the title screen. There's like a DLC for, extra unlockables or extra game modes they made. Like the original game, they're like, for the base game that launches on June 23rd, there are like 4 different editions for DLC content.
Yeah, that's
Day 1 DLC.
that should all been included in the base price of $40.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there, and it was so crazy to me that you have to pay for all of this now. Like they're like, let's see how much DLC we can get out to make extra money.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, these are remaster of games that were on the original Sega, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at how big these games were. Sonic 1 was 512 kilobytes. Sonic 2 was 1 megabyte, and Sonic 3 was 4 megabytes. So like, how are you making this really small game worth $40? Like, and then you're adding content, but I gotta pay extra for it. Like, this
And
content
it's
might not
not
even
even
be
real
worth
content.
$40. Like, you can burn through this in a sitting, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
as long as you're good at gaming. Otherwise, you have to start back at level 1 when you die.
right, unless they added like the autosave feature or whatever they want to do to it.
There's so much wrong with this release from the surface. So we'll
Yeah.
see how it is. We'll keep you guys posted,
But hey, this,
once this game releases. But
you know why this game is coming out, because we already seen the announcement of Sonic Frontier, so they were like, we gotta continue to build the hype, and the movie
Well,
just did great.
yeah, we've got to build off the hype of the movie, because the movie at this point didn't need a hype man. You know, the game, the remastered collection needed a hype man, and it feels like that's what the movie was for a second there.
Right. That's funny.
Let's move on here though to Google Stadia.
Yes.
Vic, you want to talk about Google Stadia for a minute?
Yeah, they decided to come out the closet again and be like, "Hey guys, you remember us? We're still here, and we got two exclusive games coming out called Death Run TV and Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach." It's not going to make me want to sign up for Stadia. I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Like
I
the
don't get it.
fact that that is their first launch in a while, and they don't even have a release date.
Nope. They just came out of nowhere and was just like, "Hey guys, we got these two new games. We don't know when they're going to come out." Oh, okay.
But you know what's really cool about something that might be coming out here? Ubisoft has announced a new Team Battle PvP arena title that doesn't have NFTs. You have to register to playtest. It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It's called Project Q. Maybe we might not get like, microtransaction city.
I doubt it. This is going to be loaded with microtransactions.
Yeah.
It's just not going to include NFTs.
Hopeful.
Yeah, you're getting too
Yeah,
hopeful. This is Ubisoft we're talking about here. It's going to have like 10 shops. It's going to have like 47 battle passes. It's going to have the whole works. And this is
It's going to have 2 battle passes day one, yeah.
It's going to flop. It's going to
I agree with Laser. It's going to be pay to win out the ass.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not looking forward to this. I haven't even seen anything about it other than, hey, we got this in the works.
Let's talk about another bad company or another bad game. We've got Marvel's Avengers. It's still in production, it turns out. They still want to keep building this game. Marvel's Avengers is actually on its 2.4 and 2.5 update at the same time. So they're 2.4. We're going to get a quality of life and reworking system behind the scenes. But then, we also are going to get the 2.5 update, which is going to bring us the new Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. No release date pending, just, Why are we still working on this game?
Bro, when they announced this the other day, I was really confused. I was just like, are they like that oblivious to
Do
how
they still
awful
have
that
a
game is?
concurrent player base?
They got to. There's no way that Padme. Like, I completely forgot that that's the same actor that played Padme that's going to be playing Mighty Thor in the new movie, and I was just like, but yeah, I don't understand why they're making content. This game is hot garbage. It's still on fire and it's already been buried, but it's still on fire. Like it's a coal
Let's
mine
talk
underneath.
about. Yeah, yep. Yep. It is the biggest flaming dumpster. But let's talk about another flaming dumpster. Battlefield 2042
I had to
is
put these two
now
together.
finally getting voice chat, but it only works for people in your party or your squad. So
I'm
you
cool with that. That
can't-
makes sense because like if you're in there with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lobby of 200 people, you don't want to be able to hear 100 of them, all 100 of your teammates. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
But like the fact that we only just got voice chat though,
right, like
no
well,
wonder
appar-
they're literally working on the next game already.
well, apparently they have a big update in the works that includes like 400 fixes or something like that. I'm just like, bro, like people have already moved on. No one wants to play Battlefield 2042. Like I'm mad that I spent $100 on it. I was hoping for a redemption arc, like fix the game right away. But no, we're already
we're-
6 months out. We're already
You literally handed them money. They put it in the money gun, and they're just like,
got your money.
we're already shooting money gun money here, dude. Like I told you, it's money gun money. And talking about another company that is money gun money is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is now releasing a new operation. It's called Operation Monarch. It is Godzilla versus King Kong event. Comes out May 11th. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
The trailer looked pretty cool. Like it's basically just the movie. It's coming to the game. It's probably going to destroy the island apparently. So maybe we can go back to the original Warzone map, the OG map, until the new Warzone 2 comes out in October, November, whenever Modern Warfare 2 gets announced, which is, by the way, may get teased officially on the 30th. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
All right, you know what, Philipper? Yes. What does King Kong and Godzilla or King Kong? What do they have with Call of Duty? Nothing. I would have been cool if they were like Hitler and neo-Nazis join Call of Duty for a week. I'd be like, cool, that makes sense. Call of Duty zombies has always been Nazi zombies. Like, cool, we'll play zombie Hitler for a week. But King Kong?
It, you know
Leave
why?
my boy out of
You know why? We can thank Fortnite. Fortnite has
Yeah.
caused the massive what IPs can I
Yes.
bring into my game?
Yes.
What crossover
Yeah,
events can I have? Like they have another Marvel event
Yeah.
coming up for Fortnite. Like
Like, all I gotta say is, like, I want to go Will Smith on these guys. Like, I want to slap them the fucking taste out of their mouth and like, keep my boy Godzilla out of your fucking mouth, all right? And, like,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, man?
Right.
I feel like this shit is not real anymore. And so, like, let's talk about something that's not real. Like, just such a silly thing. Saints Row Showcase. We're gonna be seeing. Did it come out yet? I think it's this week, right?
It does not come out until the 20 August, sometime in August. They really had
August,
a showcase
sorry.
event, a customization
Yeah,
showcase.
that's what I
event.
mean. The showcase event came out this week, right?
Yeah, it happened
Yeah.
last week.
So Saints Row, this is something I haven't gotten to take a look at yet, but Saints Row actually showed us a trailer of what their customization menu and a bunch of customizations for the entire game looks like. And seeing some of the trailers for the game so far, I'm just excited there's a customization menu. Like it to me, like I want to deck my dude out in so many dildos that it's gonna be like I'm gonna call my dude literally. It's gonna be like, what do you want to name yourself? The Penetrator, and then that's it. Going forth, having fun.
Yeah, this
Like
game,
Saints
dude,
Row.
I watched the trailer of the customization on Xbox the other day, and I was just like, "Yo, this looks good. Like, this is really gonna rival GTA. I think this could put GTA into motion. Like, oh shit, bro, we might need to make a move because like you can literally do whatever the fuck you want and have fun in this game. And I'm really excited to check this out because
Honestly,
I've never played a Saints Row game.
Every time I've played a Saints Row game, I've never been disappointed. Even if they're so fucking silly. Like, people complained about the Saints Row where you're president in the United States. Man, I had fun with that. It was stupid. It was silly. You know what? At the end of the day, I wasn't going to get myself worked up because I wasn't looking for anything serious. Even if the game played like trash sometimes, all I'm saying is, like, the Murder Dome. That's my fun game right there, dude.
I
I
really
just love killing people over and over again.
I think this is going to be such a fun game to hop in with like our group of friends and just do crazy stupid shit. Just on like a casual gaming night, we can just have fun with this.
Yeah. And so let's talk about a game that kind of has disappeared. Outriders. So Outriders actually just like stealth launched a
It's
new
coming out.
launch trailer for their DLC. Like it's not out yet, but it's coming real soon. Like scary soon.
Yeah.
Like Outriders has got a new DLC called World Slayers. It looks interesting. So like at this point they've insinuated your characters are gods, but even gods can't rest. So now your characters need to deal with some big menace. So maybe this will finally be the time I give Outriders a try with you, like you've asked.
Yeah, because this is basically their 2.0 update. This is
Mhm.
bringing a lot of content. I think they're adding like an expansion to the story. They're adding more like competitive modes, and because like they had the expeditions, like after you beat the game, like you sent down these drop pods from the ship that was up there, and you had to go out and scavenge them and do it in like a certain amount of time or whatever. So like, but they're
Yeah.
reworking the looting system. They're just reworking the talent trees. They're just doing a lot of quality of life updates and just bringing more content to this game. And I think it's going to rejuvenate the player base because this game has been steady. It's not as bad as like Battlefield 2042 or Babylon's
It,
Fall
it,
that we
it
talked about.
yeah,
This game has been pretty
it's
steady.
it hasn't left any huge wakes, but it definitely isn't like it's not calm by any means. It's not dead game. Like
No.
it's not hashtag dead game.
And this was a
So
good game.
let's
I thoroughly enjoyed
yeah.
playing it. The story was great.
Yeah,
I just
you
think this game
sounded like
might
you
be
had tons of fun.
this game's going to be way more fun when you play with a full man team. I think it's a 3 or 4 player team co-op game, so
Mhm.
I'm really excited because the abilities that you can play off of one another is really what makes this game, and I never had the chance to experience it. I'm just out there like solo fragging it, like let's go, and
Yeah,
it was
and
fun.
like that for me it was like Destiny playing the game solo. It just felt like there were moments where it's like you're just not supposed to fight this. You're supposed to have another class. So I'm interested to maybe try this and see if it's honestly worth my time.
It's on Game
But
Pass, so. But yeah,
yeah,
Outriders
exactly.
World Slayer comes out June 30th. For anybody wondering, this is the new update to it.
All right. And so one sec, I know you probably want to hop into more Game Pass stuff here, but let's just talk about the small competitor. PlayStation PS Plus rollout. I say small competitor because we're talking about Game Pass here, not the company. PS Plus will hit Asia markets on May 23rd. This will not include Japan, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
A Japanese company is like, we're gonna skip you first. You're not gonna get the bad rollout. Well, honestly, to me, it's like they don't want to shit on their main player base, so they're gonna shit on the rest of like third world Asia and
Right.
China.
I was really
So
confused about that.
yeah, yeah. So Japan will get it June 1st. America will get it. All of America's North and South will get it on the 13th of June, and Europe will be last with the 22nd of June. So that's all we
I'm
really have to say on that, you know.
Right.
But
I'm really confused on why this can't be implemented all at once. Like, why is like some player
yeah,
base allowed to play these games, but then like these players can't because they're in this country. But then like you can change your country on your PlayStation,
I
so like you
think
can.
what they're looking for is they're afraid to roll out because there's probably a big update to their back end systems, and like I don't think they want to toggle the entire world on one day.
Right, because
And
PlayStation
like
Network will go down again.
exactly, I was literally gonna make that joke, but thank you.
I stole your thunder. My bad.
No, 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 I steal your thunder enough. So I'm gonna let you have the thunder here. Talk about Xbox for the last little bit of our gaming news.
Yeah, man, they got obviously the Game Pass update coming out here. Game Pass is getting or already out is F1 2021 is coming to the cloud. Need for Speed coming to the cloud or already is. Triumph Boy commits tax evasion. Came to
Turnip Boy.
yeah, it's Turnip Boy. Sorry, already came to the cloud console and PC. But what's coming out here is 7 Days to Die, which is coming to cloud console PC on the 26th, along with Research and Destroy, also console and PC. Bugsnax, which we already talked about, coming to cloud console PC on the 28th. Unsold, which we talked about, is coming on the 28th for console and PC. But they're also adding 12 more games on already on Game Pass that are on the cloud, basically, that are getting touch controls, which is just awesome to see. Not everyone can afford a controller but want to play games on their phone, so just allows more games. But big ones here: Assassin's Creed Origins and For Honor from EA are and Ubisoft are coming to end of April, coming soon. So I wonder if this is the first step to implement Ubisoft Plus into Game Pass. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, well, we already got the Ubisoft stuff. I think this is just more of the catalog finally hitting the market. Like Ubisoft is slowly trickling in their content because if they give it all away to Game Pass, then what's the point in them charging anyone?
Right. Well, it's just like how EA is. EA has EA Play separately
Yeah,
from Game Pass, but it's included.
Ubisoft has theirs too.
Yeah,
So like it,
that's what I was
why
alluding to.
their
Is it
service?
are they going to include Ubisoft into Game Pass the way that EA does with their service? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. Maybe, and honestly, at this point, it would be the smart move for those third-party companies to really just cherry pick. Do they want their catalog instead of giving it all away? Because at this point, they can either go to, Sony, Sony,
Yeah, not
or they can go to Xbox.
with
You
Game
know,
Pass, which is doing really great. But another one that surprised me was the Shadowrun trilogy. The console edition is coming day one to Game Pass, the June 21st. So that's got a couple months before that. But I know that this trilogy was really popular on the PC. Did you ever check this game out or any of them out?
yeah. No, I played the Shadowrun trilogy. I played two of the games. I honestly, it's a good game. I think it lends itself well to a console because the controls were pretty clunky for a mouse and keyboard. They were kind of meant for somebody to use essentially D-pad style controls. So if you've never played a Shadowrun game, I think it's really interesting. It's going to be a lot different from your traditional Dungeons and Dragons style game
Hmm.
because resource management is wholly different. How damage and wounds it plays like the actual board game of the tabletop RPG as opposed to like say a video game.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to check it out for sure. I mean, hey, we say it all the time. It's coming to Game Pass day one.
It's free to play if you have Game Pass.
Yeah,
Game Pass is cheap as fuck.
yeah, you try it out, you don't like it, uninstall, on to the next one. But
Exactly.
talking about games, if you missed out on any of these that are leaving on April 30th, Cricket 19, whoop-de-doo, we just had Cricket 22 come to it. Outlast 2 is leaving, which I'm kind of sad to see because we know that the new Outlast game is coming out soon, and we don't see too many horror games on Game Pass, so I'm sad to see that one
And
go.
honestly, we're probably seeing Outlast 2 leave so that they can remaster it, hand it to you as a brand new game, and have you buy it.
Probably. Secret Neighbors leaving, and also Streets of Rage 4, which I'm really surprised, especially given the news that the movie's coming out. Maybe this will drive sales. Maybe people want to buy
Yeah,
the game now.
honestly, that's kind of my thought lately is like these companies are probably pulling stuff just to see if they can nickel dime the consumer, and then they'll put Streets of Rage 4 back on Game Pass after the movie.
Philip, I don't think Outlast 2 is. I forget which one. I think there is one Outlast game that is. Yeah, I think it was the one after number 2. But yeah, that's all the news for Xbox this week. Nothing too crazy, but you already alluded to the PlayStation stuff. But let's get into the rumors. We can actually remove the first one here. It was a rumor. Now it's actually became true. We're talking about Valorant. But this one here came out of nowhere, and I think it's expected. I think the gaming community wants it. But Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio are apparently getting big budget reboots are in the works. Are you excited for either of these games to come back?
I hate Crazy Taxi. I'm sorry. It's one of those mind-numbing games for me that like there is no way to win the game. It goes until you run out of time.
Isn't this a
So
game
like
that
for me, I'm just
your sister played a lot back in the day?
not Crazy Taxi. We had it, but she didn't care much for this. She cared about the taxi racing game. I forget which one that one was.
It might have been that.
But
Yeah.
like you had like buzz saws on your car and you drove through like an airport in one of the levels. Yeah, I can't remember which freaking game that was for Game Pass or for GameCube, but no, Crazy Taxi is the one where you run around town picking people up and driving them across town. And like you would drive through buildings, over roofs, through parks, across people, drive over people. And you're like, I got you there in 3 seconds. And they're like, thanks, man. Slaps the door closed and you go pick up another person.
So it's like Taxi Simulator. That's all it is.
Hardcore
Yeah, I'm about
taxi
to say
simulator.
extreme taxi simulator. But Jet Set Radio, I think would be a fun game to come out. I think we're missing these style games. Like we haven't really had them too much. And I know a lot of it's a cult classic, so I think this would do really well. And this game could come to Game Pass, honestly, because it's just that style of a game. I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's one of those. It plays like Crazy Taxi in a sense. You have a timer. You got to do stuff in a certain amount of time. It's one of those just sort of like casual, super
Yeah.
casual games where it's just like go
Like,
around, do
you
whatever.
you zone out while you're playing the game, just having
Yeah,
fun.
get high as fuck and play.
like Akilth would say, it's just one of those games you just like zone out, just numbing, just drinking while you're playing, and just
Get so drunk you think
forget
you're in the
playing.
taxi.
But another one here. Insomniac Games announced that they have confirmed that they are working on a multiplayer project in addition to Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine that we both know that they're working on. But I think everyone's alluding to that this could be the revival of Resistance. Is this what you would want to see from them, or you want them to create like a new kind of IPA or Jesus IPA? I'm a drinker, clearly.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm not really into the Resistance. Like it was okay, but like I think there are better games out there. I'd rather them just work on Spider-Man, Wolverine, and maybe like I would like to see somebody reboot Prototype, for example, the one where you turn into the giant biomutant creature and you like steal helicopters and shit. I like games like that. I don't like bullet sponge style games. I don't like it just Resistance or just these games didn't feel good to me. I didn't
Right.
care much for them.
I wonder if we'll see a remaster. I've also heard that there's a Resistance trilogy remaster in the works, so we'll see if that even come to fruition.
Wait, no, wait. Am I thinking of the right game even, actually? I might
Resistance
be thinking of the wrong game.
Resistance was like a stalker or like Metro,
Yeah,
like it
I'm
looks like
trying to
that
think. Yeah.
that post-apocalyptic world
Yeah,
with like
I was
aliens and
thinking of
stuff.
the wrong game here, but no, Resistance might be okay. Resistance 3, I can't even remember the game, to be honest.
I never played any of them. I just remember them. I really played
Hmm.
these ones at all. Because these were primarily on the PS3 and the PS4, I think. So I missed. I didn't have a PS3. I went from PS2 to the 360 to the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I completely missed this kind of game.
No, exactly. So it'd be all right. I think, it's just another one of those Resistance to me, now that I'm remembering it, it's sort of like Duke Nukem or Doom. Just get a bunch of fucking big ass guns and you go around shooting aliens. So maybe they reboot it, but I don't really think it's like they're just their games are better lately. I feel like Spider-Man, Wolverine, these are going to be the games we want to see. So for them to put more effort into something that isn't one of their core games right now, are we going to lose
Right, lose value and
something?
or quality out of Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to wait and see how that turns out. But Overwatch 2, there was a data mine recently, and it revealed that there's obviously going to be a battle pass, but then there's also
Yeah.
PVE progressions, like seasonal progression system, because obviously there's a PVE mode, but that's going to come at a later time after the PvP officially launches. So I'm just curious to see, and apparently there's a lot more stuff that was revealed, but those two are the main things that I saw out there. So I was just like, we'll see how that plays out. Like I don't know how like a battle pass kind of thing would work for like a strictly like you versus the computer mode. You know, I just don't know how that would play out.
I mean, it turns into a chore game, like a phone game essentially. It's like, oh shit, I gotta put in another 10 hours today. Just try and get, like I would rather just play with my friends instead of trying to play through a battle pass to get cosmetics in
Yeah,
a single player or a PvE style gameplay. It just doesn't feel it like as long as the battle pass is something like Halo is, like it would be okay where you can go back and continue to do battle passes. Like if I have to feel like I have to do this PvE content every day, then it's a failure.
right,
And if I have to pay for it, that's also a failure. But if it comes free with the PvP, then fine. I'm okay with it.
right. And last up here, Redfall. There was a leak apparently that it's going to be delayed from. It was supposed to come out summer 2022, and the fact that we haven't seen anything since the announcement of it, I'm pretty sure that this is real. That it is getting delayed till at least the holiday of 2022. But I'm curious though because they also have Starfield coming out in 2022. Why would they want to put two big Bethesda releases basically up against each other?
Because I think they're in different worlds. Because Redfall is going to be a multiplayer game, whereas, the other one is not. You're looking at two different style of games, so I don't think they're going to butt heads. I think you're confusing player interests here because people are definitely going to want to play multiplayer and single player, just like you and me. We
Hmm.
play Valorant once a week. We play solo games. We're still beating games on our own. We can split our attention, but if it was saying like Valorant versus CS:GO, then yeah, that would be really fucking stupid because I wouldn't want to play both at the same time. So you have to decide, do I play this one or this one? Well, if I release two games that fill two different niches, then I don't care. I'm going to
Right.
get the player base held stronger in my control.
Right. Yeah, so we'll just wait and see how that turns out. I think it might be better though just to delay. If Microsoft wants to have this like, oh, we have this big release like once a quarter, like they might want to delay Redfall until like spring of 2023 per se because unless they have something already lined up because it's also rumored that we're getting Forza Motorsport this holiday as well. Halo's going to get a massive update by the time that comes around. Then you also got Starfield coming out, and who knows whatever else they have planned. We still might get Hellblade 2 by the end of the year. So there's a lot of stuff that makes you wonder like why they don't want to release all of this all at once.
Yeah. But then again, they're such a big studio that I'm not as worried about it. Like, I don't think they're going to have trouble dealing with the fact of them coming out at the same time. I think they're just going to have. eh, I think they might be spreading their net a little too thin, maybe, if they're looking to pull awards. Because at this point, you're going to want a really good game to stand up against Elden Ring or some of the other things coming out this summer, like, late summer, early fall. You're going to want some big, meaty games. And I don't think, like, Starfield, as long as we don't lose quality, it's not going to be a problem.
Right.
But if they lose quality, then yes, it will be a problem for them.
Right. So again, just another one of those wait and see moments. But anything last comments or remarks before we close out this week's episode?
No, all right. Thanks everyone for coming out to check us live. As always, it's been fun to engage with the community here live on stream. Check us out. Tomorrow we're gonna be playing some Valorant. MrNeverChillin's coming back
Yes,
after
sir.
being away for a week.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 weeks I haven't played.
2 weeks, yeah, it has actually.
Because I missed last week because I had to take my family to the airport, and the week before that we were um,
In
I
the
was at the
hospital
yeah, I
for
was at the
two
hospital.
days.
Yeah, so that was rough. But yeah, we do like Roger said, Lunatic Oblivion said here. Thanks everyone who checked us out live and checking us out later on YouTube. We definitely greatly appreciate it. We do have our co-op stream next Sunday. Hopefully we'll be back to the regular time schedule with 12 p.m. Start time, and then a following up press start podcast at 7. But Roger, where can we find you at?
My main thing you can find me at is twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. You'll also find my links to Twitter now, as well as our Discord channel for the Lunacy Art. So feel free to come check us out, come play games with us, or even just chat.
And of course, you know where you can find me at at Twitter, MrNeverChillin _ Xbox is XNeverSpaceChillin. Want a game party up, hit me there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And actually, I've been back to streaming on my personal account for my solo experiences, whether it was a Plague Tale or Weird West, and I might start up another game here soon in the next couple of days. So, MrNeverChillin on at Twitch.tv, obviously. But definitely want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.